Airport workers at Newark, LaGuardia, and JFK showed up at a Port Authority meeting to demand higher wages. They don't think they're paid enough, using the hashtag poverty doesn't fly. Mark Bonamo is in Jersey City and has a story. Mark, what do you got for us?
What normally would have been a de rigueur meeting of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey was different today because New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy came to speak on behalf of airport service workers asking for a wage hike. The particular types of wage workers they were asking for, they're talking about airplane cleaners, baggage handlers, wheelchair attendants, as up to this point, they feel need a raise that has been long overdue. They need it to help ensure safety and efficiency of the airport in their minds, as well as to help support their families.
Why do you need higher wages, sir?
So we could perform, perform our duties like more schooling, training, and with the training we could do the better job in these airports.
What Governor Phil Murphy said to the board was they have a chance to be leaders.
It is a problem that has not changed over the past 17 months, and that is in particular the disparity in wages between workers at the airports on the one hand at LaGuardia and JFK and those at Newark Liberty on the other.
The Port Authority voted to approve a proposal to increase the minimum wage from close to $11 now to $13 within a year for Newark airport workers, and by 2023, across the board for JFK, LaGuardia, and Newark airport workers, a $19 minimum wage.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. All right, let's bring in the A-plus panel. Bill Caruso, Democratic strategist, joins us again. Good to see you, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
And Jeanette Hoffman is here, Republican strategist. Always good to see you, Jeanette.
Thanks, Bill.
Laura Nanos is here, lawyer and columnist for Law and Crime. Bill, I'm going to start with you. The governor standing with the union members and yelling about a fair wage. It would seem to me that in many cases, these guys are already paid in excess of $10 an hour. My guess is many of them well over the current minimum wage.
Yeah, I think there's a question, though, of where we're headed, right? And this governor campaigned on increasing the minimum wage, and I think one of the ways you do that is you lead by example. So I think this isn't any shock to anyone out there. This governor has been supportive of increasing wages for all employees in the state. And I think he's starting focusing on the government side. I think the one thing that's curious out of this is this weird nature of how he's the governor of the government of our state. The Port Authority is a bi-state agency, so you actually see the governor becoming a lobbyist here in a way, lobbying that agency to increase these wages.
We've seen this before. Right, you mentioned earlier, John Corzine stood with the CWA, the Public Workers Union, and said, we're going to fight for a fair contract and demand higher wages.
He did, and I'll say it's a little bit different. I think it was a curious part there is the governor was the management in that situation. There's a little bit of a differentiation here where
fair enough.
There's a
Jeanette, who pays if you raise all of the wages across the board? I mean, who speaks for the taxpayers and the airline travelers?
Well, the people who go over the bridges and through the tunnels. I mean, that's where the money is going. But the bigger picture is the Port Authority, as you know, Bill, is just a cesspool of waste, fraud, and abuse. So I think Governor Murphy, before he gives anybody a raise, needs to get with Governor Cuomo and audit that agency and see where the money's going.
I do agree with Jeanette that it sounds like things are kind of a mess over there at the Port Authority, and I do think that a good audit would make sense. Eliminating some waste, fraud, and abuse would be a great idea. I think it's very suspect that Port Authority has promised to increase wages and then didn't. At the same time, let me say that it may be economically smart to raise wages because one of the big problems that they have at Port Authority is that there's very fast job turnover. So they may end up keeping these safety workers for a longer period of time, thus getting them better at their jobs and creating better safety.
Is Murphy clueless or agenda driven? I mean, what is this? You know, he's talking about throwing money around to everyone. We're going to increase school spending. We're going to increase spending at every level.
That's part of his agenda. That's what he ran on, a campaign promise to raise tax and increase spending, and that is exactly what he's doing, Bill.